Pat. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Crafty Pat. Today I have a FlossTube video. Not all of my videos are FlossTubes, but today's is. And if you're not familiar with FlossTube, they are videos about cross-stitch mainly. So today I want to show you my works in progress, my WIPS. I only have two because I don't have a lot of WIPs going at one time. But also I'm going to show you some plans I have and some previously finished items I found in my box of cross-stitch supplies. So first, let me show you what I've been working on. This is from the March-April 1993 issue of Cross Stitch and Country Crafts. It was a magazine back in the 80s and 90s. And it's called A Young Man's Fancy. And he's coming along pretty good. It's on 28 count linen, amber linen by Weichelt. And I started top left. He's looking pretty good. I'm about a quarter of the way through. He'll end up being about 10 inches across and 17 or 18 inches tall. It's stitched, the boy himself is stitched 3/2. The background is a combination of 2/2 and 1/2 to give this shading. And some of this is blended needle. He still has to have his eyes and mouth done. They're done 2/1. So I'm waiting a little bit to do that. And there's some other parts of his face and neck that need to be done. I'm trying to do from the top and kind of keep it even as I go across. Not an absolute straight line, but like I'll come back in here and fill in some of this before I do more of this dark brown. And then over here, before I do this, I'll probably do some more here. And then, yeah, then starting more on the rest of his clothing. Show him again. So to move into this blue. And then down here is his pet squirrel. I did this a few years ago. That is his, or I finished, I started it many years ago. I have a video a couple of episodes back that I finally finished her. And when I did her, I started at the top and I did a lot of her, and then I would do the background, and then I kind of jumped around a lot. And I'm trying not to do that with him because this is a lot more satisfying of when it's not in the hoop. I lay it over the back of a chair in my living room and I can see it. And it's just a real satisfying feeling of look how much I've got done. It feels like it's more than if I had skipped around because I have solid blocks of done, completed. So I'm really happy with how that's coming along. But to break that up, because sometimes I can't just keep stitching on brown day after day after day, I am working on, this book is from 1990, Home is Where the Heart Is, by the Cooler Design Studio, who's still in business. And I'm doing this sampler. Homemade happiness is homemade, homegrown, home cooking. And it's done on, I'm doing it on 18 counts, 2/1. And work back out so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm about at the halfway point. And again, I'm trying to work from the top down. I need to go back in and fill in these hearts over here, trying to keep the border going as I do this and kind of go back and forth between the two. This is such a bright color and all the bright white compared to the brown of the little boy. But I have just really been on a kick for this in the past week. This is wheat. That'll have some back stitching. Got part of the cow's done. There's just another teddy bear over here. This is pretty much a mirror image of that. And that's supposed to be a little toy duck on the blue is a wheel once it gets back stitching. I did grid my fabric with just sewing thread, but I'm being very careful to remove that thread before I start stitching in that area so I don't end up sewing that thread into the project. I've learned that lesson the hard way. So those are my two WIPs. That's all I've been working on as far as actual stitching. But I have a big plastic, storage box with that I keep my cross-stitch fabric in. I pick up some the last few years, I pick it up at thrift stores or Facebook hauls, yard sales, whatever. And so I decided, and I had a lot of cuts from years ago when I stitch. So I have pieces like this. This is 14 count Ada. It's 4 inches by 14.5 inches. And so I went through and labeled, made an inventory of everything that's in a package. You can see I have a lot of packages of fabric. Some of it is Lugana, fiddler's cloth, Ada, a lot of Ada. And these are the whole pieces. But then I also then went, oh, here are partial pieces, and labeled them and inventoried them. So I have 4 pages here, or almost 4 pages, waste canvas. And labeled them and inventoried them. And now I need to take all this and put it in a spreadsheet and somehow organize it right. So if I'm looking at a book or I come across a pattern I want, I can look at the inventory, look at my list and go, do I have a piece of fabric that will fit on? That sounds right. Then I can go pull it and go, yeah, it will or not. So also in that, though, I found a couple of pieces of fabric that I think this one I started years ago, and I don't know if you can see, but there's a big stain up here. You can't really see it that much, but there's a stain up here that I can't seem to get out. And then I found this one that I think I got in a thrift haul. Started in the middle. Obviously, I have no idea what the pattern is. It wasn't with the pattern. So I think I'm going to use these. I mean, I can't, and these are Ada. I think they're 14 or 18 count, but I don't need to, I can cut this off and still have a good size piece of fabric. But I'm thinking I may do what Carolyn of Thread Gremlins has done, and I'll put a link to their latest video of where she just cuts this out and appliques it onto another piece of Ada. So I may make like a collage of some of these, and I think I have a few more small. Also, I have some smalls that I don't want to hang up in my house. So I'll show you some in a few minutes. I don't really have a place to hang them. Here's one that's a kit. Okay, it's cute. What am I going to do with this thing? It's teeny tiny. I don't even know how big it is. It's another homemade is best. It's a little kit I got somewhere, and I like it. It's cute, but I'm not going to hang this on my wall in my kitchen. It just doesn't really make sense. I have a stack of Christmas ones. These were once upon a time going to be Christmas ornaments. I don't decorate a Christmas tree anymore. Now, I'm trying to figure out ways to like hang Christmas ornaments maybe on a rope or something. Here's how old some of them are. Yeah, I made these. That was the first year I cross-stitched, 1986. These I may collage into some sort of Christmas decoration. Or I may do something like a slow stitch scroll. This is a slow stitch scroll. I have some videos from the past it's just a fabric collage, and you just stitch on it, just straight stitching. Here's another one that's in progress, but you can see. This one has some lace on it. So I may do something like this with these Christmas ornaments and some of the other small pieces. The other thing I may do or the other thought I had is a stitch book. A lot of people who do embroidery make a cloth book and put their embroidery in it. Again, there's things I don't want to frame and hang up, but I still want to keep the piece. And then I can just flip through it. It's like a scrapbook, but it's stitching. And I know a lot of other people do that as well. I've seen other people talk about doing the same thing. So that's running around in my brain. But I did also come across some that I have finished that I need to frame or make a wall hanging out of. Or some of them some of the ones I'm thinking I may just use them as a stitch journal cover as well. The cover could be cross stitch. But here's one I do want to frame. Where's my board? This I bought as a kit a few years ago in a thrift store. The pattern was from, I think, the late 70s, early 80s. It's of a historic courthouse in Georgia, where I live. If you're familiar with Georgia, it's the Henry County Courthouse in McDonough, built in 1897. And someone at that time, in the late 70s, early 80s, there was someone who charted some of these. So it was like a handwritten chart. And I like the historic buildings. So I did this one, and it needs to be framed. It'll probably be about like an 8x10. I'm looking for a frame for it. Because I really like that, and I would like that hanging in my house. And I've looked to see if there were other patterns by the same person, but I haven't been able to find them. Oh, here's some other little tidbits that I could put in a stitch journal or on a collage. I don't know about that girl. I may throw her away. She needs eyes. But here's one. But this one, I washed it because it was dirty and some of the red bled. So it looks like the jam is leaking. But, maybe it is. Here's one I don't know what to do with. I like it, but then again, I don't know where I would hang it in my house. I did this one in the 80s. It was from a leisure arts magazine there's a leisure arts book that has cats in it, and this is what some of the cats look like. And I had a white cat at the time who had blue eyes. I know she wasn't deaf. But in this one, I think it'll fit in a 5x7 frame, so I may frame it. Oh, this is not cross stitch. This is embroidery. This is a sampler I did a few years ago. I think it was a Craftsy class. I mean, I did it, but I've since then found out I don't really like embroidery, and I heard somebody else on FlossTube talking about that as well, that maybe it's because it's too freeform, and I have to pay such close attention to get things to be the right size, or I have to transfer the pattern. But I like this piece, and it could be a pillow. I mean, I don't know, it's like 18 by 18, 20 by 20. I really could just make a pillow out of it. I may do that, is just make a pillow. Okay, so here's an example of one that I have no need to hang this in my house, but that one through. It was some kit I got at the thrift store. I enjoyed stitching it. It was, it's on Ada, whales, whatever, dolphins, whatever they are. But if I think I just want to put it in a scrapbook along with this crewel work. The bird is pretty, and I didn't enjoy this. I don't enjoy crewel work. Yes, this up here is wool, but this is DMC floss. And it was stamped on here, and I really don't even enjoy that because, I don't know, I miss the lines or something. I struggled as a child coloring in the lines. I tried, I really did. This one I didn't stitch. I found it in a bag of stuff at a thrift store, craft supplies. And it's cute, but I don't know that I want to frame it. I may not. I don't know. It's cute. Who doesn't love Snoopy and chocolate chip cookies? Now, this one I did do, and I have one or two others that go with this. These were from the 90s. I did a couple of them, framed them for my son's room at the time. He was a preschooler. This one didn't get finished until a few years ago when he was, I don't know, 30 years old. I was like, hey, happy birthday. But I don't want to get rid of this one. I may frame. I don't know. It's a lot bigger. It's a little big to put in a stitch book. I mean, you need like at least an 8x10. So I'm not sure what to do with that. But here's another one. I may want to frame this. This was a stamped cross stitch that I got at a gift shop, and I think it was, I don't know. Anyway, at some sort of gift shop. at a national park or something. Like historic crafts. Here's another one I did from some random cross stitch kit. And this one is stamped, but the point, you didn't have to cross stitch the whole thing. I don't know if you can tell. Like that butterfly is not stitched, but this butterfly is partially stitched. And that's what the kit instructions had you do, was you only stitched part of, like this one, you can see part of it is stitched and part of it isn't. And I don't know if I really want, I mean, I don't know if I really want it hanging on my wall. It didn't take long to do, but I may put that in a stitch book. This one I should either frame or make a wall. It came from a Leisure Arts magazine in the 90s. I don't know the name of the pattern, sorry. I think, but I remember they showed it as being a quilted wall hanging, putting some fabric here that coordinated with the quilts. And I've also quilted for many years, so, and I have cats and have for years. So that's why I liked it. And this one I wouldn't mind hanging on my, but I don't know that I want to frame. And framing it's so expensive, and I don't know if maybe some of these I want as wall hangings, so I can kind of rotate them and they're a little bit easier to store when they're not. So if you have any suggestions for how to do some of how to finish some of those how to finish them, I would greatly appreciate it. The next category of items I found are other people's WIPS or UFOs that again came from craft hauls. This one, so you'll see what it's supposed to look like. I don't know if it was a kit. It must have been. Yeah, it was a kit. The thing is, I don't know that I have the thread for it. It was only partially finished. Somebody spent a lot of work on that. You can see. But, I mean, I could try to match DMC to it and try to finish it. Because I'm sitting here looking at the chart and realize that the numbers beside it aren't DMC numbers. They're just 4-digit numbers. And I guess I could look up this is from Golden Bee Stitchery from 1987. And it matted size is 16 by 20. Not real sure what I'm going to do with that. I hate to just, I don't know. I hate to see anything not finished. Now this one I am going to finish. Again, another somebody else's WIP. Sorry about shaking the computer there. And this is the Angel of Light Dimensions kit. And see how much is done? A lot of it's done. I'm not a big angel fan, so I may leave her wings off. And she's just floating through the air carrying a candle. So now that one I have the thread for. That was a Dimensions kit from 1990s, 1994. So that one I have the thread for it. Let's see if there was any others in here. Oh, here's one I want to finish. But again, I don't know that I want to hang it. I have all the thread for it. I have the pattern. It's this wolf. I don't know what I'd do with this wolf. Not very much of it was started, so I don't even know if I want to finish it or if I just want to. Some of these I may just rehome. If somebody else wants them, then I may just rehome them. Because it's a nice design, but I don't know what I'd do with it. And it's not like everything in my house matches because it doesn't. I don't have a style. My style is eclectic, whatever I like at the time. So that's some of what I'm going through is that sort of stuff. Oh, this one I do want to finish. I can't, but then again, I go, what am I going to do with it if I finish it? I don't have small children in my life. But it's Winnie the Pooh. And all that started is his leg. But it's a Disney counted cross stitch Pooh and the Honeybee. And finished design size is 8 3/8 by 6 7/8. Then a frame size is 10 3/8 by 8 7/8. Just call it 10 by 8 by 10. I don't like it when they do weird frame sizes. So, but yeah, I don't, and I've got all the thread. And this may be that coveted Winnie the Pooh DMC that was only made for these kits. I think this gold, some of this gold color. We're going to see if there should be a yellow light and a gold orange, and I'm not seeing a light yellow in here. But I wonder if that's, there's a white, a black, and a red, but this is the color of Winnie the Pooh. And if you've ever seen, like, where there's a complete list of all the DMC colors, there's 2 of them called Winnie the Pooh Gold that were only in kits. And I don't know if it was these kits. Actually, I don't know who it was. This is Symbol of Excellent Publishers, Inc. And copyrighted by Disney. I was looking for a date, and I don't see a date. And there's no website on any of the documents, so I assume it was early mid-90s. I know that's when the Mickey Mouse kits I had came out, was the early 90s. So I have things to do, and I also have I think there's a few others. But then I also found, and these are ones that I did, excuse me. I should have brought the other in here. This is Leisure Arts Magazine from February 1990. Okay. They would do a series often where there were a pattern in one issue, and then you got the matching pattern in the next issue or two. These, sorry about the glare, they had herbs on them. So you've got lavender, marigold, sweet bay. The other 3 was chamomile, mint, and I can't remember the other, even though, an eld. The other 3 I have hanging in my hallway. I could have brought them in here, but I forgot. And like, here's the lavender one. They were quick to stitch up. I framed the others, and I was going to frame these and never did. I was going to finish them, but I only have one of these 3 done. So I want to do the other 2. They are done on 14 count ivory Aida, 2 strands of floss. There's some back stitching and some French knots. I don't see the French knots actually in this one, but then it'll say something like, lavender, Victorian ladies use lavender as a restorative for faintness. Marigold, the old folks used marigold flower heads for healing wounds. Sweet bay, the early settlers used bay leaves to treat the rheumatism and headaches. So, of course, the words are backstitched, but I don't have a problem with doing that. So I do want to stitch the other 2 that go with this and frame them. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to frame them in the same frames I had 35 years ago. The chances of, and I remember framing them at the time where I lived. There was a frame shop that also had, it wasn't a class, it was, you could come in and do it yourself framing, sort of like the paint your own pottery things that are popular now. They would provide you with the tools, and they would kind of help you along. And a friend and I went for an afternoon and framed numerous pieces. and I framed the 3 that went with this. And, I don't know if maybe I didn't have this one finished. I don't remember what there's no telling what this was in 1990. But I want to do that. Then the other one I have is I liked these back in the day, and I still like them. As kitschy as they might be, they are brand different common brand names. Campbell's Soup, Morton Salt, Arm& Hammer. There's one of the Campbell Kids. Maxwell House. I don't drink coffee, so and this is Pepsi, but I'm from Georgia, and we are Coca-Cola fans. Um, Coca-Cola is headquartered here in Georgia, in Atlanta, and was supposedly, invented here. But Colonial Bread, the other girl here. So I had done one. I did this one years ago. It's done on fiddler's cloth. Now some of the others they did on the model was stitched on 18 count Aida. See if I can show you another picture. Oh yeah, here's some more pictures. There's Welch's grape jelly, Jello, Peter Pan, peanut butter. And I'd like to have some of these staying in my kitchen. Or, I don't know that I don't wear aprons, and I don't think I want them on a dishcloth because our dishcloths get used in my house and end up cruddy looking. But I would like to do some more of these. The Campbell's, the Campbell's Soup. I don't know how I want to finish them. And maybe I want to finish, okay, like this one was finished for the bottom of a bread basket. And I've been seeing some people finish things as a flat and then have like a little frame like you would have stuck a plate on and just set them up there. Or I have, I think somewhere I have those shelves that people would set decorative plates on. That I could maybe hang that in my kitchen. I could do them as flats, just wrap them around foam core and finish them, and then set them up there like a decorative plate. So, yeah, that was a finish from a long time ago. And like I said, I want to do some of the others. We're going to see what other fabrics they recommended. Obviously, you can do it. The colonial obviously was done on fiddler's cloth using 3 strands. But some of these they did on different fabrics. The Campbell Kids were stitched on yellow Davos, Davos, framed in a padded frame. Some of them are stitched on 14 count Aida, 18 count Aida, obviously, depending on what size you want it to be. But yeah, I think you make it into a lunch bag, or you can do it as jar lid covers. That's what did the jar lid. I don't use jar lid covers. I mean, those are nice for gifts. You can see the Welch's grape juice. That's what that is. So that's the other thing I have on my long-term plans. I'm trying to plug my computer in so that battery doesn't go dead. And so it gives me a lot to think about. And like I said, I have a lot of Ada, but I also have books that just have patterns in them, have smalls in them. And that's what some of these can be done on some of that Ada I have, and I have more fiddler's cloth. But even, let's see if there's something in this one that's a sampler I could take. Like here's a really small sampler from this Leisure Arts magazine from 1990. On the front, it's shown on the front I don't know if that's the original sampler or, but what I thought also about some of these strips of fabric I have that are long and thin is doing the alphabet across it. That doesn't have to be square. That I could just do an alphabet and then roll it up like this, do a slow stitch scroll, but my sampler is just going to be a long thing. And if I need to, or maybe, I said, I'm thinking, and this one has numbers on it as well. I'd have to see how much room I have on it, or let's see what else is in this one. Or pulling one motif out of a sampler and doing it, or maybe doing the border of this magazine doesn't have any sampler with a border in it. But you know how some of the historic samplers have like a floral border? Well, if I have a piece that is long and thin, which I have a lot of those, I was looking for the one I had earlier. Again, I could do a bell pull or just a slow stitch scroll, just doing the border until I run out of room. Because people talk about being a process stitcher or a product stitcher. I'm kind of a combination of the two. I stitch because I enjoy stitching, but I also like to have finished products. And that's what bothers me about all these little things that I didn't ever fully finish. And it's ridiculous for them to be sitting in a box and I can never look at them. So if I can figure out a way to at least be able to display them at certain times of the year, but without having framed objects all over my house, because I mean, there's just only so much wall space one has. And as you can see behind me, I have paintings because I also paint at times. So I have, there's only so much wall space. But yeah, those are some things I'm thinking about doing with some of these scraps. I may even try some of the things, I may over dye some of them before I stitch on them. I have done a little bit of over dyeing just using RIT dye. Sorry if the color is changing. The weather keeps changing outside. It was bright sunshine and now it's cloudy again. So I'm trying to think of other things to do because I don't want to waste things. And why should I go out and buy more fabric when I have lots of fabric? And I don't mind stitching on it. I like stitching on Ada, and I like the way it looks at times. I mean, obviously some patterns are not going to look as great on Ada. Like this guy's not going to look good on Ada. It's just not going to look the same because there's also a lot of half stitches in his face and hair and quarter stitches, 3/4 stitches that would be hard. I know, I mean, I do them on Ada, but it's harder to do on Ada. So if you have any suggestions, leave me a comment below. Um, I have a lot more ideas than I do time, I sometimes feel like. So this is not something that's going to happen soon, but it's just percolating in my head of, yeah, I can do things with this, or I can make smalls. I can make little pillows. I love the idea of the little pillows or the little pin cushions. I'm thinking maybe even making covers for, there goes my color changing again on my computer, sorry, yellow. Oh, this is changing it too. Sorry, because when I hold this up, everything just, making like stitch book covers, needle books. I could cross stitch something and then turn it into a needle book to give as a small gift to someone. And the same with the small pin cushions. And I hesitate to give big stitched gifts to people because especially a lot of my friends are stitchers and some of my relatives I would be like, oh yeah, I want to give, my cousin a gift. But she's a stitcher herself. But if I stitch a needle case or a pin cushion is something we can exchange and go, yeah, I'm going to use that or she's going to use that. And it still has my handwork on it, but it's also something she can use as a stitcher. So, yeah, there's a lot of different things going through my mind on that. And, but I'm sure some people will be like, start all these things, but it starts making my mind go crazy. I want to finish one of these big ones before I start on some of the others. I think I showed this last time. I want to do this pattern from Owl Forest Embroidery. It's called Garden Stomping. And I happen to have, I think they did it in linen, but I found this piece of 18 count Ada knit in my stash that I have no idea when I bought it, why I bought it. I usually buy fabric for particular projects, and this, but this is perfect for that. And I've had this a long time, probably since the 90s, because that's the last time I remember going to a cross stitch store. And it's 13 inches by 15 inches, and it only cost $2.15. So it cost a little more now. Not a, I don't know if it cost a lot, but inflation. So, but I don't want to start it quite yet. And I do have another project that is a DMC kit of some psychedelic sort of colors that I did start, and I thought I could carry it places to work on it, but that has not worked well so far. The couple times I tried to carry it, I was too distracted and I miscounted. I should do like that line and then just do fill in if I want to carry it somewhere. This is a little big to carry, and I need my big magnet. So, okay. So I think I've rambled enough. Hopefully you have enjoyed listening to this. If so, please give me a thumbs up, the like, leave a comment below, and subscribe for more upcoming videos about crafting. I do some sewing as well, and I haven't been in the last few months, but I'm getting back into it, sewing some little crafty items type things. So, hope you will join me again in the future. Have a good day.